So initially, this video was supposed to be me reacting to a different video talking about why video games cost so much to make. But my preamble kind of just like summarizes the entire video. Like I was doing this whole bit before watching the video. And I realized that for almost half an hour, I was just doing the video, but for myself. So this video is now no longer a reaction video. This is literally me talking before the video started, and I might as well just release that as its own thing. So enjoy me talking about games, I guess, for like 20 minutes. Yeah. I hope my ramblings make sense. So, number one, first reason, immediately, pay. If you don't know, paying people is a lot. You want to pay one person. I don't know what minimum wage is in your country, but let's say, it's a certain amount. Let's say a fictional currency is like 5,000 something, right? In this fictional currency, and that's to pay one person. If you want to have an actual development team, you can't just be one person. If it's one person, then it's probably just you. And in that case, you're probably not paying yourself as much. You're probably going to use a lot of that money back into development. What if you have 5 people? Well, if you're assuming you're paying them all equally, that's going to be already 25K. And it keeps going up, right? You're not going to have a team of 5 people most of the time. Usually, like I'd say, indie studios can get away with lower numbers, but usually 5 is a really low number. And then you get to like mid-sized AA studios, right? You get up to 50 people, you get up to 100 people, and then going up to like AAA game companies, you'd have hundreds. You'd have hundreds and beyond. So imagine this number, but multiplied by that amount of people. And again, and again, that's assuming everyone is paid this, which is probably not the case, because honestly, there's gonna be, if you're taking people, there's gonna be interns. There's gonna be your juniors, right? If you're taking any juniors. There's also seniors, people who've been in the game for a very long time. These price differences are very different from each other. And then it also depends on what they are. Are they design? That's a different thing. Are they, are they on the art team? Are they on the tech team? Are they on audio? Are they on PR? Are they on HR? Are they on marketing? Right, so there's so many people you kind of have to pay, and that increases the prices a lot. Even if you're not a AAA game studio, and maybe you're AA or something, right? Still, a lot to consider, right? And the pay just keeps going up and up. Number 2, I think, time. So think about everything that you have to pay here. This is for 1 month. You're paying someone once. But games take a long time to make. Games are a software. They take a long time. It depends on the size of the game, right? A game could take, a year to make. I mean, some games are shorter. Really depends on what type of game, because the requirements are different. A visual novel would take way less time or way less production to actually finish compared to like an action RPG, right? But let's say, again, to standardize everything, we're working on a nondescript game for 1 year of development time. Let's say you had 50 people working on, with the same exact salary of 5K. So you're going to be paying 250K per month to your own employees, and this does not include overhead costs. This does not include any software or programs that you might want to use in your development. This does not include insurance for the for all the people that you're hiring, because you need that, and so on and so forth. Imagine this for 1 year of development. Most games don't take 1 year to make, and nowadays, especially when you are a bigger company, like when you're making a AAA game and whatnot, you are taking 4 to 5 years sometimes, which is a long time to make a game. But, obviously it's going to be a big game, okay? So the payoff must be good. But also just think about how much you're investing into that every single year. And so you multiply this, let's say, this game took 3 years to make, right? Multiply that by 36. So it takes a lot. Let's actually move all this stuff. I'm not sure if this is even that useful, so I'm just gonna chuck it to the side. Third reason, I actually briefly mentioned this. Marketing. So, smaller games don't have the luxury, obviously. They don't have a lot of luxury to invest heavily into marketing, but marketing is super, super, super important for your game. Because it doesn't matter if you made the new Halo or something. If nobody's gonna play it, nobody cares. Nobody can find it. So it's gonna take a lot just for this. Have you checked how much it costs to show an ad on YouTube? The longer your ad is, the more you have to pay. The longer of an ad campaign time that you're putting up also takes a longer time. And also you have to be very rigorous in exactly who you are targeting and where you are targeting your ads to. So obviously, during pre-production, you'd probably talk about the demographics. You probably talk about the psychographics as well of exactly who you want to target. You do you need to plan out social media campaigns, which ones you want. You want like Twitter, you want Facebook, you want Reddit, you want Tumblr. There's so many to choose from, but you got to think about who is playing your game, right? Which group of people is going to play your game. If you think that most of them hang out in a certain site, you need to target that on YouTube or something, right? You need to do maybe reach out to influencers for paid ads in their videos or their own content, right? You gotta set aside time to put together a trailer, right? Trailer on YouTube and tell people about it, right? Months in advance, honestly, 6 months or longer before the game actually comes out. And a lot of this is paid. You need to pay for social media campaigns. You gotta pay for influencers. You gotta pay to make a trailer. It's all going into that budget. And then, okay, there's one more factor that I can think of off the top of my head that people often overlook, which is fair because in this day and age, you don't really think about it as much due to a lot of digital games coming out. But physical costs. If there's a physical copy of the game, whether it's for console or whatever, right? You need to make a bunch of these. And I mean hundreds of thousands of these. And then not only do you need to find people to manufacture this, you need to put them in a nice little box and then put it on a ship to transport all of that cargo. That looks like shit. Transport all of that cargo into a bunch of different countries in order to actually ship the physical product to that location. And so this is going to cost a bunch. And I kid you not, it is very, very expensive to get your stuff shipped internationally. And you don't really think about this because a lot of games nowadays are just made digitally. But again, if you're one of the bigger companies or even a AA company and you're selling a physical game, you need to think about the cost of actually making this thing. And all of this, right? All of this goes into the cost of making the game. And then guess what? You're not done yet. You can't rest on your laurels because obviously, after all of this hard work and all of this time, firstly, you need to break even, right? All of these costs, first you need to hit this, which, you know, a lot of businesses go down because they can't even get this. And then step 2, actually profit, which is even harder. This is way harder to profit from, because breaking even after all of this, that's why games that release physically have a way harder time doing this step, and why they only do this if they know they can afford it, or they do limited quantities of it, they do limited shipping, or if they're really evil, they offload the shipping cost to you. This is you. You get C. So they offload the shipping cost to you, right? And so poor you have to pay like $40 for shipping, which is not fun, right? So obviously that's not good. But if you don't pay it, then they have to pay it. So that's going to be even worse. That's why releasing it digitally means you can sort of bypass the step really a little easier to get to the actual profit part. And the sad reality, right, is that sorry, I'm moving all around the place. I don't know where to I don't know where to position myself. The sad reality is, especially in bigger companies, people have investors. They're not gonna just care about, oh, technically you made more money than the production cost. No. There's a hidden secret layer parallel to profit, which is profit margins. How many % of profit are you trying to make? Usually investors have a very specific percentage that they decide, okay, hey, when you ship this product, this is how many % of profit that you need to get back. It doesn't matter if you have a profit. No, we want to see this amount of profit. And if you don't hit that amount of profit, we're going to consider it failed. Even though you made money back, we're going to consider it failed because you didn't reach the exact amount that you promised that you were gonna make. And so entire games can be canceled after this. So what people tend to do is try to cut corners. And one way that they do it is coming back to this pay. People won't be hired full-time all the time. They'll be on a contract. And I mean, well, technically being hired as a contract, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, you're gonna be working on one project. Okay, you're gonna be working on specific thing for this project. And once you're done with it, you're done, right? So after the project is over, you are laid off. This is a contract that's being torn apart. And you're laid off. Boom. Because you're done, right? The thing that you were supposed to be doing is done. And so you're laid off. And so it's common to see mass layoffs after a big company ships their product, because a lot of employees were hired just to finish this thing. After they're done, boom, they're done, right? So this reduces the burn. This reduces burn time, because again, for every month that you are keeping people in, you are burning. You're burning money. You're burning money for everything, for every time you're not making use of your time after hiring people. Which is why organizing your document is really important. You want everyone to be working as much as possible, where You don't want someone sitting on their ass because some guy has not finished their work. You want to avoid situations where someone is causing a holdup in some chain, in some part of the chain of production, you know, because they're holding it up. Everyone else can't do their shit. How do I visualize this? I'll just keep making this smaller and smaller. So let's say this guy makes like the assets for a thing, right? This guy is the assets guy. And then after he's done, he's going to pass all these assets on to maybe a rigger, right? And then after rigging, this is going to be sent on to like animation. And then on a completely separate chain, there is the programmer. And he's supposed to be programming attack animations, right? Basic attacks and special attacks, all that. But it's really difficult to put that in the game if the animations aren't done yet, right? So they're related. But obviously, you can still code something. It's still possible to code something with with the attacks in the game. But at a certain point, it would be really helpful to have the animations ready, just so, because a lot of, like for example, in action RPG, you need to time the animation with effects, right? And usually this is pre-planned already. Like, okay, how long is this animation of this attack supposed to take? But then if you really want to get the nitty-gritty about positioning and everything, you're really waiting on the animation to finish. But what if the modeler for the assets is having a holdup, right? Now this doesn't happen. And so this doesn't happen. And so you're still paying these guys, by the way. You're still paying these guys. So money's lost, money is lost, money is lost. It's just not happening. The longer and longer this goes on. Obviously, this isn't gonna be a holdup for a whole month, but sometimes shit happens. Sometimes there are just some things that happen in the chain where it does take that long. Sometimes it's a game-breaking bug. Sometimes there's such a huge bug and everyone's scrambling to fix it because it's a game-breaking bug. And then, what do you know? Multiple weeks have gone by. Whoopsie, you've just burnt all of that money down the drain for 1 month because people are just trying to fix a game-breaking bug. And everyone else had to sit in their asses not really doing much. And that's why it's super, super, super important to plan. If you're sloppy with the planning, it gets difficult. And this is doubly so for bigger teams, bigger studios. The more people you have to handle, the harder it is. If you have ever had to manage dozens or hundreds of people before, you realize how important it is to have middle managers. But then that becomes a problem because the more middle managers there are, the harder it is to communicate across the chain. It may take multiple business days for someone lower in the hierarchy to even get a message up to the higher boss if something terribly wrong goes on. It's all a mess. And so, sorry, I've been rambling for a while now. I did not mean for this to take so long, but you know, honestly, this might be a video in and of itself. You know, I want to... Initially, I was supposed to react to a video. I'm just making the video myself. I don't think I need to react to this anymore. You know, this is my original content now, so might as well just do that. Anyway, hey, yeah, so that's my perspective as a game developer and learning all this. And again, just keep in mind, I'm not a super like experienced or professional game developer or anything. I'm still learning a lot. So don't take my word as gospel, but these are a lot of the things that I learned, and these are a lot of things that I hear and read about. So these are all sort of informed in some way, shape, or form. If there's anything you want to correct down in the comments, do so. I just think it's really interesting.